Okay, there we go. Having some audio problems as my audio, my Stream Deck does not want to capture my audio for some reason, and by that I mean it's not recognizing that I have an audio source available at all. So I'm doing that manually now, which kind of gives me a little bit of difficulties. But we're going back into Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Late start again. Nope. Nope. Can I? Oh, I can hold it. Nice. Okay. Audio. Yeah, who needs audio? I can't think of one person in the world that needs audio. Hang on, hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you've booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 o'clock and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're saying are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see this screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. What? Okay, I like that. Alright, well. How are you today, Matt? I hope things went better with the whole thing you messaged in the nerds about. The end is never, 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 the end is never.
This is the story of a man.
Okay, oh, I got an achievement. Welcome back. Nice.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Can't help but notice, I think they
Stanley
purposely
decided to
took
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I think that was you that said that. About the graduation, or did I misread who that was from? Yeah. Yeah, came out for graduation. Oh, I didn't even know I could do that. Press E to click. But yeah, so I don't really know what I should do now. Oh, hey, is that new? Meeting today. Figurine Finders Committee meeting today. Well, I guess
the confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley
guess
embraced
we
the
should
bucket.
actually go to the meeting room then?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Whoa. There will be a reward for finding them all. We were lied to. Warehouse access plans. Produce one plane to allow ease of access past fence. Construct bridge to allow collection of shining float. Retrieve Chris's remains from warehouse floor. Construct new structurally sound bridge. Okay. Gotta collect them all. A large room with lots of boxes. Stairs. Something to do with stairs. Somewhere both red and blue. Maybe we are the collectibles. Okay, so a large room with lots of boxes. stairs. The only place I could think of with stairs is is the upcoming area. Actually, that was silly. This is the only place I can really
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
There we go.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think,
Figlies is
Stanley?
also good.
What
But I think
name better
Stanlerines
encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
So your coworkers didn't even like show up?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy,
to go through
why
the door.
had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Can I...
He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket.
Oh my
Someone
God.
else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows
don't
what
have a
sorts of
bucket
bizarre
anymore.
hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far
Where's
off
my
in the
bucket?
distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me!
We gotta get to the bucket. We gotta get to our
Could
bucket.
it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the
Oh my
next.
God.
None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
Something disappeared
He
there.
had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Ah, man, I can't believe the true friendship was the bucket we made along the way.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
I feel like that
She
sequence was
arose,
shorter with the
got dressed,
bucket.
picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course,
Yeah.
he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even
As you
tighter.
should. Everyone hug your
But
bucket.
of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself.
I never
My
thought I'd be
life
so
kicks ass. And she
glad to
acted
have
all the
Stanley
way to
Parable
work.
Bucket Edition. You're almost done with the real estate stuff. Wow, good job. That's one thing I didn't do was, well, I got through some of the real estate stuff, but it's really different when you're trying to do a live stream of the game.
All of his co-workers were
Personally,
gone.
I like the
What could
mini
it
game
mean?
that
Stanley decided to go to the
Majima
meeting
has a
room.
bit more.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, so a large room, lots of boxes, some were both red and blue.
Coming to a staircase,
I think
Stanley
I
and the
actually
bucket
need to
walked
go the
upstairs
other
to the
route
boss's
for
office.
those. Already did that.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Yep.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay. I guess for this route we'll turn on the mind control machine. Because I don't
The
think
elevator raced
escape.
downward, plummeting towards
We
an
did escape
unknown
last
fate.
time. Like we went through the escape
It would be
hatch.
all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
We did the escape sequence without the bucket, so this time we'll do the not
The
escape
monitors
sequence with the
jumped to
bucket.
life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Almost, but we
Everyone
didn't.
in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Who's that?
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
It's gonna be okay, bucket.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had
Probably.
the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
I'd
What
imagine.
kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own
No!
life in someone else's control. Never!
Never!
He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
True.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content.
Someone
Walking,
like push the happy.
eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this?
Bucket!
Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Silly birds.
Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true
Of
intentions.
course, that makes total
Had the
sense.
bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket
Owls.
never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place. flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
We got the birds. Okay, so we need place of boxes and both red and blue.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
It's true.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go. Good.
Said the
No,
bucket.
wait, there's
Now
the
ride the
bridge.
lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, but Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I forgot about this. What's a putu?
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet.
Wow, it's
because
actually
that's
here.
what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
I like my bucket.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
It TM. Oh, getting a call. 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry for that long wait. I had a call from my dad because we had some tax things come in. I saw that picture, Matt. Oh my god, that's so amazing. I love that bird.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No. I can give up the bucket whenever I want. I just don't want to.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
No.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Why? Why would you do this?
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Yeah, PTSD to the companion cube. Oh my god.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits.
Oh,
what
okay.
other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley.
No,
Give
it's
the
my
fans
bucket.
what they want. Hurry and...
Oh. Oh.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Well, sorry, Bucket Destroyer. You didn't get to destroy a bucket. Okay, we gotta find... Oh my god, everything's going wrong. Okay, we're good. We're all
A
good.
soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started. And if it did, it stopped shortly after. Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be... Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the
It's
meeting
not.
room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
The bucket's never wrong,
Stanley
sir.
took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo
Okay,
lift.
so if I go up here, I can then get here. Okay.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
Okay, well, where does this lead? I see. It's a lot of tapes.
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel.
I don't think I've seen this in the
every
original.
time
Like this
I
area. I'm
pick
gonna
it
have to
up.
go there quick.
No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket
It's because
is
the bucket's in
my
your view.
arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it.
Can you? Oh, okay.
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
Morata. Huh. Okay. Well, let's go back there.
Already this
and-
was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Let's see if we can get back to that area.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Huh. I never did this before. I guess it still could be a part of Ultra Deluxe. That's technically true.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun
Time
so
to
far
wake
off the
up.
beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you.
Aww.
Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Well, that was interesting. Never saw that before.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room. A good bucket. A strong bucket. A humble bucket. A committed bucket. A bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Bucket's never
Stanley
wrong.
took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. A cargo lift, yeah, good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But
Bet
Stanley
that bridge
chose
wasn't
not to
there
think
before,
about this
but you could
obvious
probably
fact.
get up there and
He
jump
was
down.
firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Except for, you know, getting over here.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no,
No
buckets
buckets.
past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay.
Now then, I'm going to run you through
Why
some
am I
test
on a
scenarios,
fashion show?
and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should
Yeah.
tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Incorrect. It
What?
is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Well,
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
no.
Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Okay.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Trick
Hey!
question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. Should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something. And therefore nothing could possibly be something.
Exactly, yes.
Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
No.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence.
I know, right?
And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
I think so.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this.
No, you're not.
I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game.
No!
Entirely. Okay, here we go.
Bucket!
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait,
Everything.
was everything a bucket?
A bucket.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay?
Okay.
And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Excuse me, did you know that everything is a bucket? I'm not a bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, so we need to go to the red and blue.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh, you know me.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I know, right?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Has it?
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten.
What? Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yeah.
Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really
Huh,
do
it
want
really
to
said no
help you,
buckets.
to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Here we go.
Give me a chance. And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward.
It is. It's true.
I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here.
Nice.
And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Hey, Hex. Okay.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Okay.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying
Oh.
to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here,
Oh, yeah?
let me show you.
I guess there's nothing to keep going around here. So we got the last Stanley Wiggly.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy.
Oh, good for you.
I actually feel happy.
It is very nice. It's very blue. I like blue. But if I can't be happy, you can't be happy. Oh. Oh. Well, maybe a little longer wouldn't be too bad. What's next? Oh, green. It's like that one ending in Silent Hill. Alright, well.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Okay, we'll come back.
Right. Where were we? Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Okay, well, I guess we can come back here then.
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
It's very pretty.
No! What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here. You heard me before, didn't you? You will die! What about this isn't getting through to you?
Okay, I'll go back.
You are going to stay here, aren't you?
No. It's red now. I don't like red.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Pretty sure I'm walking slower now.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop. Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
No, you don't understand. I must.
No. No, no. What are you doing, Stanley? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
I don't have my bucket. I need my bucket.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? My God, is this really how much you dislike my game?
That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
No, you're not. I want to be happy. I need my bucket.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it?
It is.
I'm going back.
We need to go to the meeting room. We got all the Stanley figurines. The balloons are gone. Whoa. Wow.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
It felt pretty
Didn't
good.
it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone?
Oh.
I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines.
Okay.
Just one more time.
This didn't go great last time, though. You remember that, right? Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Well, I guess he added it via basement. Oh yeah, that's the exit. Oh. Yes.
Here's where it all began.
Yeah.
The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
The fact that it actually said 7 is good. We got 7 out of 6 of them now. Oh, yeah. Then we got the one in the bathroom.
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
You think they took this area from Dear Esther? I don't know that game. And you mean the, like, the other thing. The people. Yeah.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
It was the office.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, behind the boss's office. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible
Oh,
to
the house
forget
on the
your
hill? That
third
makes sense.
time
They like to
doing
make
anything.
references and stuff.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in
No.
this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
We found the one in the museum.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Oh, this brings back memories. Oh my gosh. Also, yeah, it wasn't, the third one wasn't the museum. We did, or the second one wasn't behind the boss's office. We had the museum one.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
8 minutes.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others.
Probably.
Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
You are in the present. Oh, it's actually recording my camera.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone. No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Sure, if you want.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Now, sir, you're looking at now. Everything that's happening now is happening now.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that.
That's a good video. Yeah, the pink room.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation.
Wow, that's just a solid
Next one.
texture. It's over this way. Oh, I guess it was under the stairs. I misunderstood. Yeah, I got that wrong, actually. Well, I mean, under the stairs is technically behind the off... No, I guess it's not. Oh.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
The exhibit. Oh, the jumping circle. Can I jump more?
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now.
To give me more?
Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
And then our office.
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office?
No.
There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different.
Were you?
I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again.
You think you can do this without
do it.
me?
I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay. Wait.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Okay.
Ah, the embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
I guess I should have gone to the space that had recordings.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay, we're gonna see what the turn off the mind control thing with the buckets like then, and I guess we'll go to the recording spot.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous
I'm
room
not sure if I
packed
want to
with
go there with
television
or without the
screens.
bucket.
What horrible secret did this place hold?
Probably
Stanley and the bucket
without the
both
bucket.
wondered to
Because
themselves.
the other one, with the bucket, we don't really have a recording there.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Everything will be fine.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
Probably.
Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
Oh, you know, bucket
These
things.
questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it
Is it
over?
over? Was it?
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley
Aw.
wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
That'd take a
Both
long
of them
time.
wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it
kinda
was a
weird.
simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
Oh.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room,
This is
lingering
rude.
in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
It's true, though.
Needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But
that
at
sucks.
least he has the bucket.
It's not an
To be
infinite
trapped
hole,
eternally in
though.
darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to
That's
himself.
true.
As
It's
long
not
as
so
I
bad.
have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I?
Yeah.
Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Okay.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Okay, so that did mention the tapes, so we need to do that.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh, we can also
And here it was, the lounge.
do the
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the
bucket
first
crushing
open
machine
door
and
on his
actually put the
left.
bucket in there.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Whoa.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
I guess not then. Oh, okay, never mind, yes.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather. The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Guess we're gonna say no.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Well, let's go crush the bucket, I guess.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Calling, you hear me calling.
You see,
I don't
your
know what
friends
that
and I
is.
are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley.
I
Classic
just love
characters
so much
from the
that they put
first
the
game,
entire
like the
closet.
Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Oh, it actually won't let me.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you...
Okay. Okay,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I guess we could go do the adventure line stuff. We haven't done that yet. I mean, we're just there with the bucket, but I don't actually think there's anything else I can do
When
with
Stanley
the bucket
came
at
to a
this
set of
point.
2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
What were you
It's
thinking?
clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh, hey, we're up here.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket's gone. All right.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
We're still on that line.
Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story. I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Gonna be on this one for a little while, I think.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
I don't think we missed anything.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Oh.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Yep.
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Well, thank you.
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Okay, so I found the thing that I'm missing. Apparently, though, that input thing was something that I could have done. That was from the original Stanley Parable. Okay, so one that I missed. I don't think I would have done this normally anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. Begin the game again. Get out of this one. What?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Do I need to take the bucket again?
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
This might be just to reset us back into the nukes content.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Hope that didn't like really reset me. Like if I go in here, will I find the collectibles again? No.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay, so apparently for this one, we ride the elevator back up.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing. Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life.
As you should.
Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
Okay, we have to do this a couple times, I guess.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly. No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Going to the number 3, Link Plus.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears, and the whole time he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator. Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another.
have.
Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Boom, boom.
Ah, said Stanley. I know what to do.
Yes.
I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work.
How would anyone figure out to do that?
For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
To stage 3.
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
All right, Bucket, you're gonna understand.
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure, and in that moment Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Well, that's just how it is, you know?
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent.
We're going to see
Stanley
if this
checked
other
his ego
ending that I
and then
came across
proceeded
from the
onward.
original game has a new thing for this. Basically, we just need to get them out of his office, and then immediately after entering back out and go all the way back to Stanley's office.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh. A good elevator ride, you know. Oh, it doesn't go anywhere? Huh, interesting.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was...
Missed it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate, assertive yet compassionate. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
A little ahead of you there, narrator.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping in...
There we go. Everyone is unique. You're now leaving. Floor 460. Okay. Climbing up the stairs with my bucket, my bucket. Climbing up the stairs with my bucket. Climbing up the stairs with my bucket. I'm climbing up the stairs. Here we go. Skate pod launch bay. I guess this one doesn't really have any new dialogue with the bucket. Oh, no, it does. Well, not dialogue, but we're gonna let the bucket go. Shh. It's okay. It's okay, bucket. Goodbye, bucket. We knew ye well.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Aww. The bucket is officially gone. What if I begin the game again?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, yeah, there's a replacement bucket. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay.
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Hey, I let it go. Okay, for this one we need to get back to the mind control
Stanley
facility.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where, coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Absolutely. Can't think of anything else. Okay.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret! But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below.
Yeah, it happens.
Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home.
Yeah.
In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him.
Just does.
Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket.
Not at all.
It was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually.
Maybe.
It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Oh, well.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. I'm gonna run to the washroom, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So that just leaves actually one more new ending. which I believe I actually need to quit the game. Uh-oh. I tabbed out, so I lost my mouse. Well, there we go. Quit to menu. Quit to desktop. What's the other achievements? Test achievement. You can't jump. Seriously, we disabled it. Play the Stanley Parable for the entire duration of a Tuesday. 88888888. Click on door 430 5 times. Huh, well, we can do that quick. I'm not sure about the 8 one. And the speed run, complete in under 4 minutes and 22 seconds. I feel like that's gotta be easy enough. Oh, it's not gonna. There we go. So it said I can enter my favorite time now. So I'm gonna enter my favorite time. What is my favorite time? Ah, 7:15, your favorite time of the day. Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 7:15 is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate? It's about that. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders. We've gone through all the sliders I have. Or perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip up a couple new ones. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Good to know. Yeah, definitely not doing these, like setting it. I guess if it's just like that. Yeah, I don't really know. We'll begin the game. We'll go to 4:30 and click on it 5 times, I guess.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement?
Oh my gosh.
Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly.
Okay.
50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost.
Why
Okay.
don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417. Oh, there it is.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
There it is.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
Okay. What'd I do for an achievement?
Now, back to door number 437. Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
We got this. We're getting this.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
419's desk.
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
I also just got the achievement. You can't jump. I just pressed the jump button a lot.
We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again! Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We
Yes!
did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
What was I thinking? You're right. Quit to the desktop. More achievements. Test achievement, don't know. Speed run, I guess I could maybe try, I don't know. That was a fun one. 888, I imagine that's just hitting the 8 button a lot on the keypad. But I also can't play the game for 10 years eventually, so, you know. Developed by Crows. Aww. Please just slide until the number 5 becomes the number 9. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of the 2 made-up words below is most appealing to you? Okuboinkle, Scrumtush. Please don't adjust the slider. Do you know what time it is right now? Is it the time that it is right now the correct time? Yes. What is it? What is time anyway? Yes. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? No. Help. Yes, I'll help. Will you come back to visit me? Yes. I guess we'll try quickly doing the speed run.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe we can't do this in 4 minutes.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content?
Yep.
Always more content, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Thank you.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful.
Should have been careful.
Used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. But railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
Okay. Apparently I double checked to get the speedrun achievement. You actually need to reset the game a number of times, and eventually it'll just drop you in front of the choice door, which we've seen a couple of times, and that's just, you know, not something we're going to just wait on. Developed by Crows. What time is it? Does anyone really truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all the game settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. And I still don't really know you. And you don't know me. Hi, Teddy. And neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games were meant to be played alone. You like being alone, don't you? That's maybe the only information I really learned about you. Well, it's time for me to leave. There's still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. It's not really my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again, if you can find me. Talk soon. And much like what we learned in the Stanley Parable 2, we have an epilogue. Many, many years later. We're out here. Why is this so emotional? The memory room. The memory zone. Are we gonna get back? Wait. What's that? Is that the escape pod? Our bucket! Oh, I'm so glad our bucket got to be here. Teddy is so angry at something. I kind of want to see if I can climb onto the building. Good. Generator is running. The Stanley Parable 2. Oh. Cookie 9. Oh, Cookie 9! Review the Stanley Parable 2. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with the sequel. Where the first game teamed with the originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fanbase. Rather than what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off in a territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? That was my favorite. Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the Adventure Line? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collect all the figurines gives you nothing. Now you just can't make Cookie 9 happy. When the Stanley Parable launched to massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But disastrous critical and commercial reception of Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been farther from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release.
Jim.
Ah, the collectibles. Can I collect them? Good. $26 out of 6. Back in a office. Thank you for enjoying the new content. Hello again. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise. What nonsense. The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together we're going to make Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also really need a really dumb subtitle for a game. Something loud and gaudy. Go ahead. Try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game. Stanley Parable 3. Dreams of... No, Stanley's Tiny poison. Stanley Parable 3, Stanley's Tiny Poison. It's absurd. I love it. Every time we start the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way, the Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It'll just be the same content recycled again and again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. Let's do it. Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. Alright there. The achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I mean, the test achievement is still there. I guess they couldn't technically change that. Stanley Parable 4. Open with the scream. Imagine this just kind of takes us back here. Yeah, so let me actually see about that achievement. Begin game again. Can I get there from the beginning?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, it is. Well, I need to come here with the bucket. I didn't think about that.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley
Have you
Parable
now?
and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
All right. Time to grab
Yes,
that
you
issue.
see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Do I have my jump circle back? Nope.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's
Okay.
future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and
How do I
long-term
get there
franchising
again?
potential.
Huh. Didn't notice there wasn't really anything this way before. Reassurance bucket. What a really good feature, you know? Collectibles. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh my gosh, I'm blind.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
I got it.
As you can see, the machine is not working yet since... What? Wait. What in the holy hell is going on? You got the achievement?
I did.
Why did the machine work? Stanley, I didn't fix it. I didn't do anything to it. I swear, it was broken just a second ago. Who fixed it? Is someone here? Are we being watched? Oh, God. Composure. Composure. Yes, as you can see, the machine is working as normal, as I intended. It truly speaks to the awe-inspiring magic of the Stanley Parable 2. Breathe. Just breathe. What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Okay. Get in the game again.
All of his co-workers
We'll see if we
were
can do
gone.
the 8 thing.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Oh, we got
Perhaps
the
he had
inputs.
simply missed a memo.
Okay. I've never actually seen this one myself, so I kind of want to see this one. Okay. Input received. 423. I don't know.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Oh well, we'll try to go get those 8s.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this.
8.
What dark
Hey, I
secret
did
was
it.
being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the box.
Let me double check the other achievements. Tired Rage of Tuesday, the speed run. Set all setting sliders in the menu to all available to all the available numbers. I think I did that, but it don't really matter. And Super Don't Go Outside, Don't Play for 10 years. I think that's it. I think we're done. I'm fairly certain we have now done everything that we're basically going to do with this game. So, yeah. That'll be it for tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching. Monday, I don't think we're going to be on YouTube on Monday. We're probably going to go back to Twitch so we can do more of City Skylines. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.